So I just wanted to share a couple of examples of some shows that I worked on over the years. I just have three shows to share with you here, and these are kind of some of the more exciting, you know, uh, clients that we worked with. So the first example that we have here is a fashion show, and being in New York, we did a lot of work with New York Fashion Week. So we'd partner with various different designers to stream their fashion shows live from the red carpet. And this one that you're seeing now is from Carolina Herrera, and we did this show for years. And I believe they still work with Carolina Herrera on this show. She's stuck with the live stream production team. But this is a great look at fashion. You know, fashion is one of those things in terms of live production that's pretty formulaic. You have that classic 2-camera look coming down the runway where you do the head to toe wide shot, and then you have the tighter shot that tilts up from the feet to reveal kind of the entire outfit and show the model as they make their turn at the end of the runway. And in this one, we also incorporated a couple of lipstick cameras, which are kind of small remote cameras that we mount around the venue. You can see that in the opening shot there, that just kind of give you some variety and something different to cut to other than just those two main shots. So those are a great example of some fashion stuff. The next one I want to share with you here is a concert, and this is Slash live at Irving Plaza in Union Square. And this is a great example of a music show. Music is one of those really exciting and dynamic live style shows to do just because, you know, there's a lot more creativity to it than some of the other more formulaic shows. And in this one, we had 5 cameras. You can see we've got the kind of classic, you know, wide shot at the center of the stage looking up. We've got a downstage camera that's in the pit on a 50mm prime looking up at Slash and getting those nice shots of his guitar and all that. And then we also incorporated a lipstick camera on the drummer, which you may see in the cut here. Another great way to, you know, put kind of a static mounted camera there to just give you a little bit of a more dynamic feel. So that's a great example of a music show. And then the last one that I want to share with you here is from the New Year's Eve in Times Square broadcast, or webcast, I should say. This one is an example of a really, really big and impressive stream. This is actually the official New Year's Eve Times Square live stream. And this show is really unique because it's really, this webcast that we produce is tied into a much larger broadcast production. So out there in Times Square, all of the big broadcasters, Fox and NBC and ABC, everyone's got their own stage and everyone's got kind of their own broadcast infrastructure to produce their shows with their hosts and with their guests. But in addition to that, there's a kind of an entire broadcast infrastructure that's built as what they call a pool feed, where there are 20 plus cameras stationed all around Times Square that all of the broadcasters get to use those feeds to cut shots of Times Square, and, you know, the big jib shots showing the big crowds and the shot showing the Times Square ball there at the top. And that's something that we got to incorporate as well. So in the webcast, we'd have these 20 plus broadcast cameras. And then in addition to that, we would have our own host position where we would do interviews with people. And then we would also have roaming crews who would run out and do interviews with the revelers, the people who are actually there just to experience the event. And we would bring those interviews back into our truck and roll them into the broadcast throughout the night. So that's a really exciting one. And that was a really great show to work on for me. I worked on it for, I believe, 6 or 8 years, something like that. And I really got to be in all different roles, from directing the show to producing to technical directing to being a field producer, you know, getting those interviews out with the revelers. So really a great one where I got a lot of different experience with a lot of moving pieces.